Hey, this is Anton once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Anton. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, re-reviews, reviews, randomness, or whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. If you wish, if not, no worries. But if so, really appreciate it. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And you'll probably hear once again an appearance from my neighbor's roosters. See, I have to say on every video, because they'll be like, what the hell was that? Well, that's what it was. And let me a little bit of exposure. Not that kind of exposure, a little bit of light. There you go. But Anton wanted me, for this topic, to talk about my favorite movie opening scenes. Which I thought was interesting because it's something I never really thought of, but can be a very important scene because your introduction, first impression of a film. Ideas for me, like a lot of movies, like the opening will be fine, or the opening will be okay, or a lot of times the opening would kind of be a little bit of a build-up, because as one would put it, you don't want to shoot your load right off the bat and then have nothing for the future for the viewer and the next 100 minutes or 90 minutes or so. But after thinking about it for a bit, there were a couple that made me think of this topic. The first one that came to mind was Cliffhanger. The opening of Cliffhanger. The opening scene where it does a great job setting up the movie. The majestic mountains, the rousing score, the awe and wonder of the majestic mountains, introducing our character Gabe, played by Sylvester Stallone, a routine rescue, the friendly banter, seeing that he has a history with Michael Rooker's character, and also this other lady. There's a camaraderie, there's humor, idea of banter back and forth. It's calm, it's routine, and sadly, a horrible event happens. And you have your lead, Stallone, do everything he can. There's nothing more he can do. It was routine, something broke, he tries his all, he's begging her to reach up, and the score, the way Renny Harlin had the shots, made it look, the angles he chose, it creates nice tension. It's weird to say suspense because nowadays it's hard to not know where this is going. So maybe it's like you know where it's going, you're just waiting for the pin to drop, so to speak. And it drops, literally. And the way it's shot, and that's a good jumping point for the character, why he decided to quit, why there's tension between him and Michael Rooker. And it's showing the height, the elevation of where they're at, the danger. To me, that's just a great way to open the film. And the movie just went up from there, because to me, Cliffhanger is seriously one of the best action films of the 1990s. Yes, I say it with a straight face. Yes, I say it without any wink to the camera. I truly do believe that. I think it has excellent action set pieces. I mentioned the score, the cast, John Lithgow, Michael Rooker, Stallone himself. Stuntmen were on point with that film. And Renny Harlin is a great director. When I look at films like Die Hard 2 and Ford Fairlane and this film and The Long Kiss Goodnight, and yes, Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and Prison, I'm like, yeah, this guy's a capable director. I even liked his Jackie Chan film Skip Trace with Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville. I thought Renny Harlin did a pretty decent job there. It's one of the last decent Jackie Chan films, in my opinion. You know, as things are getting darker, of course. But oh well. It's not like you're going to see a whole lot. It's not like Blade Runner back here. Oh, you just see a chair and a poster more clearly. An Aliens poster. So, whatever. But yeah, Cliffhanger, when I saw that topic, that's the first that came to mind. And speaking of Stallone, Cobra. The grocery store robbery. Even before that, You have the titles, the score that's moody, makes it feel like a horror film. One of the few Sylvester Stallone films that's the closest to a horror film. That and another film called I See You, also known as Detox. I love the horror genre. I love when action hero dips his toes to the horror genre. Again, this is like one of the closest Stallone got to, because it could have almost a feel of a slasher film, with some of the stalk and chase sequences and the villains. And you have like the red sky, the booty, like the score sounds like from a horror film. Edgy score. And then the obliteration of this grocery store and the introduction of our character, Marion Cobretti. With the big sunglasses and the matchstick. And I love his lines. You lousy shot. I don't like lousy shots. You did the kid for nothing. Now I think it's time for someone to go for you. I'm gonna blow this place up. That's fine. I don't shop here. You wanna talk? We'll talk. I'm a sucker for conversation. I wanna make a deal. Bring the TV cameras in here. Can't do that. I don't deal with cycles. I'll put them away. I'm a freedom of the new world. You're a disease. I'm the cure. Pa pa pa. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a way to introduce your badass hero. As one of the many reasons why Cobra, if that uncut version, which sadly will, because apparently there's an uncut version, there was a lot more blood squibs, a lot more gore. I don't even want to say gore, but like blood squibs. That's long gone. We will never see that. It's too bad. If that ever did, that would even jump up a few notches for me. But as is, I do love Cobra. Again, sincerely love it. And that opening always sticks out to me. Let's see. Some other stuff I wrote down. The Shining. The way it opens up with the titles, that music, and just beautiful shots of the skyline. You know, and that dun, 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 as it's cascading over the mountains. And then when the tower comes up, you have this like creepy, it's not choir, but this creepy, I don't know how you describe that music. If you want to talk about foreboding and giving off a sense of foreboding, tension, the opening of The Shining with Jack Nicholson truly does that. It's like, oh shit, where is this going? And it's a great movie. Going the total opposite direction, one that screams out childhood nostalgia for me is Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze. I say nostalgia overload, if I can't even say it right. I still remember the VHS tape. I remember what it looks like. I remember popping the VHS all the time, same with the first one. But the second one is, you introduce this character Tino, there's a robbery, and then boom, there's the Turtles. And they're having fun with each other, having fun with the villains. After they defeat the bad guys, the robbers, they're making fun of each other. So you see that camaraderie of the Turtles, them as a family. I was saying, you have them fighting. Yes, it's not... I will always wish there would be a darker, more in the vein of the Raid Redemption type of Turtles. That will never happen. Face facts, it will never happen. That's how it is. Just that's how Hollywood, that's how these people look at those characters. Unlike a lot of the public. And to me, if you make that film with a low enough budget, because you don't need $100 million to do that, you will be making money. But hey, what do I know? But Secret of the Ooze, that introduction, the Turtles jump into action, the great suits by Jim Henson's company, each one getting their moments. And yes, as a kid, you could accept the more goofy nature. I said to me, I thought the second film was more of a representation of the cartoon compared to the first film. Because of the way they use... I mean, let's face it, in the cartoon, they barely use their weapons. Except maybe the first couple episodes where they're fighting the foot soldiers who are robots. Otherwise, they don't really use their weapons a whole lot, at least intention. I mean, Michelangelo eventually got rid of his nunchucks and just used his hook thing in the cartoon. Like, people forget that. So yeah, I thought the first movie was a bit more of a representation of the comic books, and the second film was a bit more representation of the cartoon. And that's why, to me, it's a fun double feature to see, you know, the differences. And I enjoy both of them. They're not perfect 5 out of 5 movies. Well, they're 5 out of 5 when I bring in nostalgia, fondness, and personal entertainment value. So, me personally, they're 5 out of 5 movies with emotion put into them. If I look at them objectively, no, they're not 5 out of 5. Each film has its issues, but again, nostalgia, childhood feels, all that type of stuff. And the opening of the second film is a part of that. And if you wonder why I'm doing this, it's because I just got up and trying to wake myself up, poke me in the eye. Opening scenes, I gotta mention Blade. I mean, if you think of opening scenes, how do you not mention Blade in the rave scene? You could almost say it is the best action scene in the movie. And while I do like a lot of the action scenes afterward, they don't really come up to the level of the first scene. So it's a positive and negative. The negative is the action scenes that follows are fun, but they're never up to the insanity of the opening. On the flip side, it's a hell of a way to open your movie. Yeah, that music. Hey, you want to showcase who Blade is? That's a hell of a way to do it. With all these vampires, with the rave and the blood, and Wesley Snipes staying there and showing how much of a badass he is, shooting, kicking, fucking vampire, kicking ass, taking names, fucking boomerang thing, chopping heads off, using swordplay. That opening still kicks ass, and I like the music. I'm not even a bit techno, but that works for that scene. Other stuff, Predator 2. I mean, of course, I'm a big fan of Predator 2. I've said this many times. The fact that someone sent me this, this is still one of the all-time best gifts I've ever got in my life, sincerely. If you're watching, you're the one who sent me this. Because I don't know if he wants me to say his name, because I don't see him much on here. Might be life in general. I hope you're doing okay. But, again, one of the best gifts I've got. The opening scene of Predator 2, that kind of tells you the action extravaganza you get into. It's like, we need to be different from the first film. The first film was a slow burn, which makes sense because we're introducing the Predator. Introduce you to the Predator. You know who and what the Predator is, what he looks like, what he does. So just get right into the situation. So the Predator's vision, boom, this big action scene, showcase Mike Harrigan, get in the car, dodging, swerving to save his men. Hey, asshole! Shotgun. And also, it introduces one of the more underrated portions of Predator 2 that no one else mentions, or not many people mention. When you watch Predator 2, there's this connection between Mike Harrigan and the Predator, where the Predator watches him and starts stalking your hero, and fucking with him, and playing mind games with him. He starts following him, he follows him wherever, studying him. He fucks with him by killing his buddy, taking his necklace, putting in the cemetery, and going, "Come get me, motherfucker." Why else do you think the Predator left the pendant there? He's watching the guys. I think the Predator gets the idea of what this is. Yeah, this is your friend that I killed, bitch. Come and get me. And so Danny Glover picks it up, and it's like a challenge. I challenge you. And Danny Glover's like, okay, fuck yourself. But it's to the beginning, where the Predator's watching this guy driving through hellfire bullets, and then take out these bad guys by himself with a shotgun. exciting opening scene that starts the great roller coaster ride that is Predator 2. See, other ones, Out for Justice. It's a great way to set up an action film. You set up Steven Seagal, my favorite Steven Seagal film, and you have this pimp beat up on someone. Talk to me, asshole. Come on, what the fuck you doing? Talk to me, asshole. I will fuck you and your kids. And just how Steven Seagal beats the shit out of him, does his Aikido move, throws him through a fucking windshield. And then, nice piece of direction where we see through the inside of the windshield that the bad has been thrown through. It freezes on Seagal as we look through the windshield. Out for justice. Okay, that's a way to set up your hero, your badassery of your hero. Not too shabby. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a classic opening. I mean, the suspense, the tension of trying to get the idol, the asshole, Alfred Molina, actually, Doc Ock of Spider-Man 2. Give me the idol, I'll give you the whip. Give me the whip. Going through the traps, the darts, the boulder. I mean, what more could be said about Raiders of the Lost Ark? It captured the cereals of back in the day. Not the cereal you eat. This is the one with the S. Of back in the day. You either had the Flash Gordon or you had the adventure aspects. And this captured with mysterious dungeons and traps and boob, danger, excitement, good stunt work. Great score by John Williams, one of his best. That sets up the danger and adventure that this guy's going through. The first Nightmare on Elm Street. You have Freddy making the glove. That's a nice tension-filled way to start your film. We don't see Freddy's face. We have this very creepy score by Charles Bernstein. Horrific score. And you just see this slow making of the glove. And then the title, damn. It's like, damn, even the title is, like, the fucking opening titles are scary. Idea that certain sense of mystery of, okay, this is the weapon. Who the hell, what the hell is this guy? I mean, of course people mention Jaws, but I wanted to mention like different, more unique stuff than stuff like Jaws. Searching, which is a film I love. Searching, I think it's a great way to open it because with John Cho, it's very clever how the whole movie is told through social media, whether it be a webcam, whatever you look at. Kind of like this. If I'm looking at a computer and I push a button, you look at my desktop, that's how it's viewing it. And so what the opening does, it shows the history of our characters via the history of social media. Where, and not even social media, but technology. Where you see the old YouTube, you see the old, like, QuickTime. I still remember QuickTime from back in the day. And as it's showing these old parts of technology and the internet, and newer, younger kids won't understand, they didn't live through it, but people like me who did, who were there for the evolution and the birth of the internet, it's a going through history lane, but it's not doing that just to give you nostalgia, but it's to tell a story about John Cho, his wife and his kid, and his wife getting cancer, and beat it, succeeding, but then it comes back, and how, without exposition, without someone without having to show text, without, as in, you know, the text going up, I'm going to tell you half the story in this scrawling, if I stop stuttering. That's again, it's an innovative way to do it. Innovative may be a big word for it, but clever. Let's say it's clever. It's telling the whole story that she had cancer, she beat it, she gets cancer again, things didn't work out the best, now it's just the two of them. It's a great way to set up the story with, again, without having to be bogged down by someone having to sit down and explain everything, verbiage. It's doing it in an entertaining, clever, well-paced way. So I think Searching is a very underrated opening for a movie. Other ones, Demolition Man. Man, that whole bit with, it starts off the bat in the near future, although at that time it was like 1997, but things are up shit creek, Stallone, full-on action, send a maniac to catch a maniac. Phoenix! Kicking ass, taking names, one-on-one Wesley Snipes, big fucking explosion, like crazy, practical, real explosion, good score. Was it, God, was it I think it was the guy who did the score, Elliot Goldenthal, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it was Elliot Goldenthal. That score just worked. I mean, that's like, yeah. That's how you start an action movie. You establish the badass review hero, you establish the villain, Wesley Snipes, his personality, he gives a big spectacle. That's kind of the opposite of what I was saying at the beginning. It said, fuck it, we're going to start with a bang. Kind of like Lethal Weapon 3, where Riggs and Murtaugh, this bomb, we gotta wait for the bomb squad. The bomb squad never gets here on time. And then they're looking at a car with a bomb, a cat jumps on the car, it's almost a catastrophe, huh? Raj? Yeah. Get the cat. Get the cat! And they fuck up, they run with the cat, and they accidentally blow up the fucking building. That's a fun way to open the film. Same with Bad Boys, 1995. You're establishing Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence's characters. They're banter in the car. One getting pissed that his french fries are falling. And then they get held up. And it showcases their attitude. It showcases they take care of themselves. It showcases they're not people to fuck with. You like that shit? Wesley Snipes, Passenger 57. Now give me a motherfucking handy wipe. And then Will Smith's like, now let's hear one of those jokes, bitch. Bad Boys. I'm like, okay, yeah, this definitely showcases the attitude that we're going with. Which is fun, which I appreciate. I mean, other stuff I could mention, Rambo for Split Part 2. I like the conversation of, do we get the win this time? This time it's up to you. I just thought that was a great piece of dialogue that sets up what continues. And then Rambo for Split Part 2 is one of my personal favorite movies. I mean, I wrote a couple more down. Universal Soldier, establishing Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren's characters, The Shock. I remember audiences being shocked of like, holy shit, these guys are dead already? Like, they killed each other? I mean, you kill off your two leads in the first, like, 5-10 minutes. Because it leads to what happens to them in the future. John Wick 2, it's the battle for John Wick to get his car back. I think it's a very fun, entertaining action scene that... I was going to mention John Wick 3, but that's not really the opening scene. I mean, that's like the first 20 minutes of the movie. So I don't know if I could count that as an opening scene. But John Wick 2, where he's just, you know, getting his car back, it just shows just how the beautiful cinematography is, the stunt work involved, the editing, well done action. And when I saw it in the theater, I went, yep, okay, I have a feeling this is not going to disappoint me. Because I didn't watch trailers. I went to that movie cold because I said, you know what, I want to actually see a film without seeing the fucking trailers that give away the entire movie. So, since I love the first John Wick so much, I didn't watch the trailers, and I had a great time in the theater. And I did the same thing with John Wick 3, had a great time in the theater. So, that John Wick 2 opening I thought was pretty stellar. Zombieland, the opening credits showcasing the zombie apocalypse to the tune of Metallica's "For Whom the Bells Toll." The way that was done, that was very creative, very clever, funny at times, which then Zack Snyder stole for Army of the Dead. Speaking of Zack Snyder, the Dawn of the Dead remake, I still remember when that opening sequence was on the Sci-Fi Channel. They did it there to promote the film. Hey, if you want to see it in the theater, here's the first 10-15 minutes of Dawn of the Dead, the remake. And I thought, wow, it's the calm before the storm, and then shit hits the fan, and then when she gets outside and just overlooks the chaos of the neighborhood, Sarah Polley's character. And then she gets in the car, the way the camera's like on top of the car, following her drive through this neighborhood that's just gone to deep shit. And like that wide shot, helicopter-like shot, where it's going down, and you have the car driving, and then you have this other car driving, flip, and going to this gas station that it blows up. I'm like, that's a good way to start your movie. It's Zack Snyder showcasing a lot of style. James Gunn had a hand in it writing. I think he was essential in making that film worth the spit. Because James Gunn did a better job in Suicide Squad than Zack Snyder did with Army of the Dead. Maybe Zack Snyder needed James Gunn to write the fucking film. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many I'll name. I mean, The Hitcher. Just that comes to mind. The original from 1986 because very moody, atmospheric score. You see C. Thomas Howell driving through the darkness, the rainy back roads of America, and doing what you're not supposed to do, pick up the hitchhiker. And then Rutger Hauer, just the underlying tension where he's just acting weird and off. Oh, that's the guy who picked me up before. No, I don't think he got really far. And then he keeps staring at C. Towers. Why do you say that? Well, because I cut off his arms. And his legs. And his head. And I'm going to do the same to you. I'm like, okay, that's a way to open up the film where Rutger Hauer just, may he rest in peace, just sold the ever-loving shit out of that role. I think it's his best. Definitely one of his best roles. Definitely one of his best films. It's still a fucking shame that does not have a Blu-ray in the United States. Because of fucking rights. Whatever the hell the rights are. But yeah, at the end of this, that was the mood, the tension between these two characters as it follows this cat and mouse game that I think is done fairly exceptional. I'm sure there's many others I could mention, but those are the ones that came to mind some off the top of my head, some I had to think about for a little bit more. I didn't want to just name the typical that a lot of people mention when you like read up on articles, movie articles, things of that nature. So, Rambo 3 is a good opening with the stick fight. I always thought that was an entertaining action sequence in an underrated sequel. Showcasing Rambo's animosity, but he does hold himself back, and he wins, but he doesn't go too far. But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.